Over 80% of viewers aren't subscribed. Be sure to hit that button as I push for 40,000. So it has been quite the start to 2024, especially for the 737 MAX series. The 737-9 remains mostly grounded right around the world as airlines battle to sort inspections and understand what went wrong following an incident taking place on our Alaska Airlines flight from Portland to Ontario. So what's the latest, and just what is next? First, let me recap the incident at hand. An Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX with service to Ontario suffered a significant pressurization issue that stemmed directly from the rear mid-cabin exit door separating from the aircraft, which is a 737-9. The exit door is sealed for specific customers off the Dash 9 before delivery and isn't A, used, or B, meant to detach itself as it did. Data indicates that the specific variant impacted was the 737-9 with the registration of N704AL. The aircraft was only delivered to Alaska Airlines in the fourth quarter of 2023. Therefore, it's only a few months old. Flight radar data indicates that the 737-9 reached a maximum altitude of 16,000 feet before being forced to return to Portland, of course the origin point for this flight. Some of those on board sustained injuries, but all were very quickly medically cleared. This is naturally the best development to come from the incident, including the fantastic handling from those on board crew members. Immediately following the incident, Alaska Airlines said it had pulled the 737-9 from service voluntarily, a very important word, and was already conducting inspections and approving the aircraft to re-enter service, leaving many, I'd argue, just from taking a look at social media and also forums, a tad confused. Why? Well, because at the time this video is at least going live, there's still a pretty big lack of understanding of just what happened, and investigators are yet to find the door that detached. So question marks were therefore presented on how on earth Alaska Airlines were clearing the aircraft given these circumstances and the lack of understanding, especially so soon after the incident had taken place. The company said it had inspected the door previously during maintenance period, so therefore it was reapproving the jets itself. Shortly after Alaska Airlines said they'd ground their 737-9s, the Federal Aviation Administration came into the fray, issuing an Emergency Airworthiness Directive. This is EAD for short. If you hear me mention EAD, that is Emergency Airworthiness Directive. The EAD covers a total of 171 units right around the world and does apply to countless 737-9s which are flying in the United States, that come from Alaska Airlines and United, certainly not two small airlines. However, you might think that the 171 units mentioned in the EAD doesn't cover all the 737-9s delivered, and you'd actually be correct, so a massive well done if you managed to connect the dots. The mandate is actually only towards those with the mid-cabin exit door plug, and this isn't all the aircraft, but certainly the vast majority. And those are the ones that are being impacted. Additionally, it's been very important to note that currently this is only affecting the 737-9, not any other variant of the MAX series. So if you're flying, or maybe just you're passing by to the channel for the very first time and new to the aviation world, it is only one variant in the series. That is why so many airlines have been sending out releases confirming that their aircraft are not affected if they're flying, say, the 737-8. The Federal Aviation Administration says that its number one priority rests with the safety of those who will board future 737-9s. As a result of this, assurances need to be made that the aircraft is safe to re-enter service. Currently, customers worldwide do lack that necessary clarification surrounding just how inspections can take place as the investigation really only begins. Following the FAA's EAD, several other airlines right around the world responded to the growing concern by grounding their fleet of Dash 9s. Again, this was only if the respective variant that they flew was impacted. The list included Aeromexico, Copa Airlines, and Turkish Airlines. Ultimately, there was a sense of deja vu for onlookings as the groundings felt oddly similar to what we saw take place in 2019. Of course, before I go any further, it's really important for me to mention that the circumstances that led to the groundings in 2019 to now are very different, and the incidents can't be compared. But the element of just say an airline grounding the MAX is where it feels a little bit similar. Returning the aircraft to service safely now is the absolute #1 priority. However, there is a lot of customers that have a bit of concern on how this will occur. Initially, before the FAA's mandate, it did seem like these respective airlines believed they could return the aircraft to service quite rapidly, but this did not end up playing out precisely as they may have envisaged. For Boeing and its customers, what's next? Well, we know determining the cause of the incident will play a significant role in understanding what will happen. Obviously, there are several outcomes that can take place following the findings coming to light. Many people are concerned that if this is a quality assurance problem, that it highlights again Boeing hasn't really mended itself. One of the biggest focuses, though, to come from all of this will be the impact on Boeing as a manufacturer, and again, the MAX series. If there was one company that couldn't take any more negative attention, it would be Boeing, and 2024 was really earmarked as another year of instilling that new culture they've been talking about, and working towards improving core elements of the business that have taken so much damage over, say, the last 5 years. But now, 1 week in, it's been a complete disaster for them. And now, no doubt, all teams at the plane maker are working in overdrive to try and understand just what has occurred. If it is an isolated issue, is it quality assurance related? What needs to happen to get these planes back in service? And that really falls down to your airlines, who need clarity over the incident and the steps required to re-enter the planes into service with inspections from Boeing. Because as touched on at the beginning, we technically know what happened. The part came off the aircraft, but there's just uncertainty around why, how, and such. That is going to conclude today's coverage on a little bit of a recap on that Alaska Airlines incident and the fallout that we've seen from it that has impacted Boeing 737-9s right around the world. If you have any thoughts, you're more than welcome to let me know down below in the comments. I know this will be a heavily debated topic with people having their strong opinions, so feel free to go down in the comments and have a chat. But again, be as respectful as possible. At the end of the day, we are one big aviation community, and I love the fact that we have the opportunity to discuss these things below. Thank you so much once again. Stay tuned in a couple of days for your latest aviation analysis. That will be a bit more like the content you are used to. Take this video as a bit of an emergency one, given what has been happening. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. And we'll fly.